the stand. Now he runs. He produces a magic trick. He pulls out another one. This is incredible. This is ridiculous. This is 15 out of 10 on the incredible meter. What a player. What an entertainer. Give him the medal. Give him the Dally M medal.
Hello, footy fans, and welcome back to the Chip and Chase podcast. We are here to put our Friday and Saturday games into a preview format. Of course, all of our Thursday games for round 8 of the NRL season are in one because we have 3 games on the Thursday this week due to Anzac Day, which means Friday is only 1 game and Saturday is only 2. So we're going to combine them all into the one podcast. So a bit different to our normal stuff. But yeah, Friday, Saturday, all in the one. So we'll get straight into it and kick things off with the Manly Sea Eagles taking on the Parramatta Eels. Manly are currently in 5th place, Eels in 14th, and this one is taking place 4 Pines Park, Sydney. So it is a Manly home game. We'll get straight into the team list changes. There's a few to note here for both sides. So for the Manly Sea Eagles, we have the inclusion of Nathan Brown, who was a late withdrawal last week. He's missed the last couple of weeks, but he's back on the interchange. The other big one is that Josh LAA returns from his suspension, where he took out the legs of Sean Johnson in the extra time match against the Warriors. So he's back at starting prop, which pushes Matthew Lodge back to the bench. For the Parramatta Eels, we have seismic changes for this side. Sean Russell has been dropped, with Bailey Simonson moving to the right-hand wing and Micah Sevo making his return on the left. Beyond that, Ethan Sanders has been named to make his NRL debut in jersey 6. So 5'8" for Ethan Sanders, but I would suspect that he will play halfback and Dylan Brown will be moved back to 5'8". I assume it's just a bit of a tactic. You know, you don't want to name a debutant at halfback. Halfback's the most important role in the side, and it's just a lot of pressure. So take the pressure off him by naming him at 5'8", but I assume he will play as he normally does as a young gun halfback. Off to the Canberra Raiders next year as well, Ethan Sanders. So let's see how he goes for the Parramatta Eels. But beyond that, for the Eels, Bryce Cartwright is out, with Ryan Madison being promoted to start at second row. And it's almost a whole new look bench for the Eels. Brendan Hands is jersey 14, Makahisi Makatoa, jersey 15, Joel Ofahengawi, the only man to remain on the bench, jersey 16, and Kelma Tuilangi in jersey 17. So they replaced Luca Moretti, Dejan Arce, Werrima Greg, Blaze Talangi, who are all in the reserves. So not sure who the 18th man is going to be, but we'll have to see that when it comes out. In terms of my tips for this game, I have locked in the Manly Sea Eagles. I think the Eels, they're too inconsistent. You don't really know when they're going to pull out their best footy. I'm pretty sure they were the team to beat Manly earlier this year, and they played really good then. I don't know what I'm going to get. I always like tipping them. I like the Eels. I think they play some really entertaining footy when they're on. But yeah, it's too hard to know when they're not on and when they're on. So I'm just going to back the Sea Eagles. They've been fairly consistent. Couple losses here and there, you know, one to the Eels themselves, one to the Dragons a few weeks ago where they were quite poor, and of course the recent draw to the Warriors. But I think they're still playing a lot more consistent footy, and they look a lot more like a premiership threat than the Eels. So just based on that, I have tipped them for this one. In terms of how I see them playing out, well, it's going to be an interesting one. The Eels, as I said, you never know what you're going to get from them, and you even less so know what you're going to get when they make changes like this. Is Ethan Sanders going to be the man to steer the ship and, you know, fill in for that Mitch Moses hole that they've been missing? You know, is Micah Sevo going to be back to his best on the wing? Is Bailey Simonson going to be good on the right-hand side? Is Ryan Madison going to be back to his best at second row? Look, they're an enigma. You really don't know what you're going to get. So just based on that, I can't really say how the Seagulls win. I think they just settle into their normal plays. They attack that right-hand side with Ruben Garrick and Jason Saab. A lot of speed there. Tommy Trebojevic pushing up through the middle. You know, Daly Cherry Evans is on that side. I think they just keep hammering that side. They might look to attack Morgan Harper in this one. You know, Harper spent a lot of time in the Manly system. They know him back to front. Could be an area of focus for them. But look, we'll have to just see how this one plays out, to be honest. Regardless, I do just see Manly winning this one. In terms of my matchup for the game, look, there's a lot of good matchups across the park in this one. Despite the fact I don't see the Eels getting the win, I still think they have a really good side on paper and a lot of individuals that can stand up and really have good games. You can look to the fullbacks, Gutho and Trebojevic. That's always a good spot for these two sides, pretty much the heart and soul of their teams. You can look at the wings, Micah Sevo. He'll be up against Jason Saab. I think that's going to be quite interesting. Both wingers not really known for their defense, so we'll get to the bets, but that's something I'll be having a look at myself. I really like Penasini up against. He'll be up against Tolo Kula, I believe, in this one. Like that matchup there, two young gun centers. Look, there's a lot of ways to look at it. Dylan Brown named at 7, probably playing at 5/8. I like Brooks and Brown. Look, as I said, yeah, lots of ways to look at this one. I think I'm going to lean towards Jake Trbojevic and Jaman Hopgood. I know, not the most exciting matchup, that's for sure, but I think these two players are very integral to their side's performance. If they have really good games and they link well through the middle, it's going to create a lot of space. We know that they're very staunch defenders and they can run the ball really well as well. So I really like these two sides there. Almost the epitome of how their sides play, to be honest. So Jake Trbojevic, Jaman Hopgood, that's going to be my matchup of the game in this one. But of course, there are a lot all of the ones I just mentioned. Moving on, though, we'll get straight into my bets for this game. As I said, I have got the Manly Sea Eagles winning this one head to head. So that is that is my first leg of the multi. I then have Micah Sivo / Jason Saab, which is player A and B, to combine for 3+ tries. So you're going to have to find that one. Again, this is all done through Sportsbet. So we'll get into our little Sportsbet spiel right now. But basically, I do all my betting through Sportsbet. I'm not affiliated with Sportsbet in any way. I just choose to bet through that agency. If you're looking to follow along with these bets, do it through the Sportsbet app, because a lot of these markets may not be available in other agencies. And even if they are, the odds may be completely different. This is one of those times that runs true. I'm not sure if this sort of market is available in other betting agencies to do the whole player A plus player B markets. But yeah, player A plus player B to combine for 3+ tries, and the players I've selected are Micah Sivo and Jason Saab. So basically, Micah Sivo could score a hat-trick and that wins. Saab could score a hat-trick and that wins. Saab could score 2, Sivo 1, that wins. You just need those two players to get, by the end of the game, three or more tries between them. So that is the second leg of that multi, and they've got the match going over 44.5 total match points. Two very attacking sides, and also two sides not really known for their defense, especially the Eels last week. If they can concede that many points to the Dolphins, I'm worried about how many they can concede to a red-hot Manly side. So I really like those legs. I'll read through them again. That is Manly Sea Eagles head-to-head, Micah Sivo / Jason Saab to combine for 3+ tries, and over 44.5 total match points for the odds of $8.50. So if you're slapping $1 on that and you win all 3 legs, you win $8.50 back to the dollar. Once again, guys, if we're gambling, please make sure that we're doing it responsibly. Do not gamble what you cannot afford. And if gambling is no longer fun for you, please do seek help. Beyond that, we will finish up with that game, and we'll get into that was the Friday game. We'll get into the Saturday game, starting us off with the West Tigers taking on the Brisbane Broncos at Campbelltown Sports Stadium, Sydney. So West Tigers home game. Tigers in 13th on the ladder. Broncos up in 6th. Look, we'll get through the team list before we get into any tips. For the Tigers, not too much on here. Junior Tupou is out of the side with the injury he sustained in round 7, which means the Union flyer Solomon Alamalo makes his NRL debut on the wing. Jersey 5 for Solomon, so really excited to see how he gets his shot. Beyond that, Samuel Afinu has been promoted to start in second row, pushing John Bateman to lock and Fanua Pole to the bench, which means their bench is now Latu Finu, Alex Twal, Alex Seyfarth, and Fanua Pole. But yeah, really excited to see Samuela get his run-on shot. He's been absolutely incredible for them this year, so really excited to see how he goes. For the Brisbane Broncos, massive changes here. Starting us with Selwyn Cobbo, who is out of the side. Apparently only looking to be a 1-week injury. I think it was a finger injury that he sustained, so hopefully not too long. That's offset by the return of Dean Mariner. So Dean Mariner comes onto the wing. Jesse Arthurs moves to the centres to replace Selwyn Cobbo, probably just for the week. You'd expect Corey Oates to drop out next week when Selwyn returns, but we'll worry about that next week. Beyond that, Ezra Mam is out of the side, which means Jock Madden has moved to the 5/8 jersey, and Adam Reynolds is back as their halfback and their captain. In their front row, Payne Haas also makes his long-awaited return, pushing Fletcher Baker to the bench, and Brendan Piakora also returns from injury in the second row, which pushes Jaden Hunt out of the side. So their bench is Tyson Smoothie, Xavier Willison, Kobe Hetherington, and Fletcher Baker. So massive, massive ins for the Broncos. Very exciting to see. Almost a full-strength side. Obviously, Selwyn and Ezra, two big outs, but they get a lot of their main men back for this game. So really excited to see how this one plays out. In terms of how I see it playing out, well, obviously I have tipped the Broncos. I think now they're going to be playing some really expansive footy. I think the Tigers have been very spirited this year. They've been putting some really good performances together. Even against the Panthers last week, I thought they defended really staunchly. Whether or not they can do that against the Broncos remains to be seen. I unfortunately don't think they can. I think this Broncos side has too many attacking threats across the park, and they're just going to use them. Reece Walsh is going to find space no matter where he is. And yeah, there's going to be points coming, unfortunately, in my opinion, for Tigers fans. But I'd love to see them get away with a win. I just don't see it happening. So the Broncos are my pick. I think their forward pack is going to make the momentum. And you know what happens after that. Their back line switches into gear, and they've just got one of the best attacking units in the whole league. So yeah, kind of exciting to see them play their best footy. But we'll move into my bets for this one. I have the Brisbane Broncos to cover the line, which is a line of negative 11.5 points. Basically, what that means for anyone who's not familiar is the Tigers essentially start 11.5 points ahead. So they start the game with 11.5 points on the board. For the Broncos to win, they have to win the game by more than 11.5 points, if you get what I'm saying. So beyond that, I have Katoni Staggs as an anytime try scorer, and I have the match going under 45.5 total match points. Now that one is the money maker because everyone thinks that the Broncos are going to win this one and win this one well. I think they will. I'm just hoping that they can score less than 45.5 total match points, and maybe the Tigers go scoreless. No, I don't know. As I said, I'd like a close one, but I just don't see it happening. I'm just hoping it doesn't go too ridiculous in terms of the total match points. But that comes to the odds of $8.75. So once again, if you're putting $1 on that, you win $8.75 back to the dollar if all three legs get up. But that'll do us for the Tigers and the Broncos matchup, which means we'll get into our final Saturday matchup, which is the Cowboys, the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Penrith Panthers at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Townsville. So Cowboys home game. Cowboys currently sitting in 8th, Panthers up in 4th. So a clash of two top 8 teams, but the Cowboys have been on a bit of a decline recently. A few poor performances mixed in there. Panthers came off the bye a couple of weeks ago. Good win against the Tigers last week. They get a big man back, which we'll get into right now. But we'll start with the Cowboys' ins and outs. For the Cowboys, not too much to note. All that there is that Jason Taumalolo has been dropped to the bench. Griffin Neame is starting at front row. And Thomas McKaylee gets his Cowboys debut on the bench at the expense of Jack Gosiewski. Those are the only changes for the Cowboys. For the Panthers, the big one is Nathan Cleary returns from his hamstring injury at number 7. Taylor May is also back into the side. He missed last week with a personal issue, so he's named at number 4 in the centres. Beyond that, the only thing is that Brad Schneider, of course, drops straight out of the side, and as does Paul Alamotti for those two players who return. So let's get into the tips. Obviously, I'm tipping the Penrith Panthers. I think no matter who they're up against, you tip the Penrith Panthers. They're the best team for a reason. Cowboys, a bit hot and cold. Started the season really hot. Few poor performances as of late. Can they make it back? We'll have to see. This is going to be a massive test for them, especially over in Queensland, over in Townsville. If they can come up with a good performance against, one of the best team or the best team in the comp, it could actually set their season alight and could give them a lot of confidence. I think it's going to be really important for them, and I'd love to see them win this one, or at least put in a really credible performance and get it really close. I just, I'm going to tip with what I know, and that's that the Penrith Panthers, they're the best, and you don't tip against the best. So I've got the Panthers winning this one. How I see it playing out, well, look, honestly, the Cowboys beat themselves realistically. They make too many errors. If they're going to continue to make those errors, the Panthers, they capitalise on everything. You cannot give this Panthers side a chance, especially not with Nath back in the side. I think Nathan Cleary is going to be ripping them to shreds and just, running this team exactly how it needs to be run. They play their own style of footy. They know nobody can stop their own style of footy. And if the Cowboys are going to make any errors, the Panthers will make them pay for that. In terms of my matchups for this game, well, very interesting ones. I'd love to go Scotty Drinkwater and Dylan Edwards. They've been killing it. I like the ideas of the centres. I thought Tom Chester was really good last week, one of the only Cowboys players that stood up. But then you've got Taylor May and Isaac Tungo, so Valentine Holmes, Tom Chester. It's good matchups there. Brian To'o, Semi Valame, meter eaters. Valame was incredible last year. Dearden and Luai. There's a lot of performers across the board that I'm really excited about. I might go for Ruben Cotter and Isaiah Yeo. I know I did lock forward earlier. I'm going to do it again here. I think these two are like the heartbeat of their sides. Ruben Cotter, I said it last week, it's so weird to have a team like the Cowboys, a team with Ruben Cotter and Tom Dearden. These two players that you see and you're like, these guys don't lose. They're so competitive. Their effort's always there. I could never see them losing a game, and then they lose a game by the margin that they did last week. I do think the Cowboys are going to want to redeem themselves. I think they would have had a massive rocket from Todd Payton. I know it's against the Panthers, and I don't see them winning. But I think if they are to come close or to get away with the Chockies, Ruben Cotter is going to play an 11 out of 10 game. He's just going to rip and tear as he always does. And we know what Isaiah Yeo does for this Panthers team. He is amazing. He's actually ridiculous. I think his season this season is one of the best I've seen of any forward. It's crazy what he's doing. So really excited to see those two go at it. Two are captains of their side as well, co-captains. So those are my matchups. In terms of the bet I have for this game, I haven't got this one up and running, so bear with me. Here we are. So I have the Penrith Panthers big win, little win, 1-12. As I said, I see them winning. I'm hoping the Cowboys can make it a nice, close, competitive game, and that leg will get up. So 1-12 for the Panthers to win this one. I have Taylor May to score a try. He hasn't looked anywhere near scoring a try since like the early rounds of the season, basically since he got shifted to the left-hand side. But I'd love to see him score a try in this one. And then I've got the match going over 40.5 total match points. I just think 40.5, it's a pretty low margin. Basically what that means is both teams could score 20 and you've made that margin essentially. So I don't mind that, which means the odds are $17 for those three legs. So $1 on that is $17 back. And that is pretty good odds in my opinion, pretty good value there. So I'm hoping that one can get up. But that one wraps us up for the Friday, Saturday game previews. So once again, we'll be back again. We're going to knock out the Sunday game previews in its own podcast straight after this. So if there are any information that changes between now, this Thursday, and the Sunday games, I'm not privy to that. You're just going to have to make your own decisions based on that. We just try and get all these recorded in one big hit, so I don't have to, not waste my time, but just I can manage my time and manage my days a bit better. So we'll get that one recorded and scheduled for upload on Sunday, so you guys should be ready for that one. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.